thinking, our leadership skills. Taking that here to the county, we deal with a wide range of people as well.
I worked with a diverse population in the military. I work with a diverse population now. We're a reflection of our community. And that's what I appreciate about my department.
Losing the fear of looking foolish comes with age.
Who did you steal him from?
Losing your way in your own home doesn't. Confusion with time and place may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Mom, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's.
Each year, there are over 4,500 reported complaints from residents in long-term care facilities relating to their health and safety. The Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program is here to answer the call. Volunteer and be a voice for someone who needs your help. Be someone's hero.
Most water around here ends up in Puget Sound, and whatever's in that water, like thousands of gallons of yard chemicals. So let's get together and help save the sound, because Puget Sound starts here.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Pierce County Council Operations Committee for April 7, 2025. The time is 10:03. Apologize for the late start, but technology was not agreeing with us this morning. Can the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Councilmember Denson. Here. Councilmember Herrera. Here. Councilmember Hitchin.
Here.
You have 3 members present and a quorum.
With 3 members present, we do have a quorum. We're also joined by the alternate Rosie Ayala. That brings us to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as presented? Seeing none, we will consider the agenda approved. We also have minutes from the month of March. We have March 10th, March 17th, and March 31st, 2025. Are there any changes, additions, corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll consider the minutes for March 10th, 17th, and 31st approved as presented. That brings us to item number 5, which is approval of our meeting schedule. Ms. Long.
Thank you, and good morning. This is your meeting schedule for April 14th through the 18th. On Monday, April 14th, beginning at 10 a.m., you have your Rules and Operations Committee meeting. You'll be approving the meeting schedule for the week of April 21st through the 25th and the council agenda for April 22nd. There is one proposal on this agenda. It is 2025-510, and this is removing the county's voluntary participation in the federal E-Verify program and repealing and amending certain sections of the code related to that. And I will note that the chair is also going to be listed as a sponsor on that one.
Yes, please.
At 11 a.m. is, I'm sorry, I didn't note the council final action date, and that would be April 29th on that proposal. At 11 a.m. on Mondays, your regular Monday study session. In addition to your usual agenda items, you do have one item under other business, and that's the 1501 Market Street update. That will be with Carl Imleg, the Director of Facilities. And at 1:30 on Mondays, your Public Safety Committee meeting. There's one presentation on that agenda. It's the wildfire egress report, and that will be with Department of Emergency Management staff. And I will note there's one random T over in the margin that we'll remove. On Tuesday, April 15th, beginning at 9:30, you have a Health and Human Services Committee meeting. There is one proposal and one presentation. The proposal is R 2025-139, and this is affirming Pierce County's commitment to public safety, equity, and inclusive access to county services for immigrants, refugees, and all residents. This has an April 29th final hearing date. And the presentation is a behavioral health improvement plan and spending plan updates, and this will be with Human Services staff. At noon is your regular Tuesday study session, and just the usual agenda items are listed here. At 3 p.m. is your regular council meeting. For other meetings, on Wednesday, April 16th, beginning at 9:30, there is a committee of the whole, and there are 3 discussion items on your agenda. The first is a review of the draft 2025 committee of the whole schedule, and that will be with Mr. Taylor. Next is the fiscal year 2024 end of year report with Julie DeMuth, our finance director. And finally, you have the council budget monitoring reports with Paul Boki from our office. And that is the meeting schedule for April 14th through the 18th.
Thank you, Ms. Long. We'll go to Committee Member Denson first for a question or comment.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I have a question. The Public Safety Committee meeting, and I guess I could Chair Herrera too, this wildfire egress report, that's the Key Peninsula wildfire egress report, right? Or are they planning on doing more beyond that?
My understanding, so I'll defer to the committee. You want me to? My understanding, it's the Key Peninsula wildfire egress report. You're not going to come in during the fire. It's an egress report, correct?
Could we amend that to say Key Peninsula, just so the public is aware that that's what this is, because it's just focused on the Key Peninsula.
Well, the countywide, there was a countywide assessment, right, and then there was a separate report focused specifically on the Key Peninsula.
So are we hearing the countywide assessment as well?
My understanding it's the Key Peninsula, but we'll verify, and if with council's permission, if it's only, I believe it's only Key Peninsula, and if that's verified, we will adjust the title accordingly.
Okay, I think that'd be helpful, okay. So people that are interested in that know,
sure,
are watching for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the question. Other comments? Seeing none, I will look to the Vice Chair for a motion.
Looks like we're there. Chair, I move to approve the meeting schedule for April 14th through the 18th, 2025.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the meeting schedule for April 14th through the 18th. Any further comments?
Madam Chair, and that includes the potential revision to the public safety agenda, correct?
I will restate the motion. So that is approving the meeting schedule for week of April 14th to the 18th with the potential change to the public safety meeting title. Is that okay? So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the meeting schedule the 14th of 18th with the potential of changing that title. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. That brings us to the council agenda for April 19th.
15th. So this is your council meeting agenda for your regular meeting on April 15th. We'll start with your consent agenda. You have one item for introduction and scheduling, and that is our 2025-138. This is setting the date of an evening District 5 council meeting. That will be June 30th at 6 p.m. at the Franklin Pierce Performing Arts Center in Tacoma. And that has an April 22nd final action date. For final action on your consent agenda, you have 3 confirmation resolutions. The first is our 2025-135. This is confirming the reappointment of an existing member to the Pierce County Veterans Advisory Board. Next, you have our 2025-136, and this is confirming the appointment of a new member to the Pierce County Conservation Futures and Open Space Citizens Advisory Board. And finally, you have our 2025-137. This is confirming the appointment of a new member to the Developmental Disabilities Advisory Board. Moving to Section 7, you have one proclamation on this agenda, and that is a proclamation of the Council and Executive designating April 22nd as Earth Day in Pierce County, Washington, and that was requested by Councilmember Denson. There are no resolutions, so we'll skip to Section 9, Ordinances, and you have 2 items here. The first is O-2025-507. This is adopting a new Chapter 2, 113 of the Code entitled Community Needs Grant Program. This was forwarded without recommendation at Rules and Operations on March 31st. And the other ordinance is O-2025-509. This is amending 2 previously adopted ordinances and adopting new voting precinct boundary maps. This will be heard this morning in Rules, and we'll add the recommendation to your agenda. And those are your agenda items for the April 15th council meeting.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this council agenda? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion. Vice Chair Herrera.
Chair, I move approval of the council agenda for April 15th, 2025.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the council agenda for meeting on April 15, 2025. Any further conversation? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. That brings us to item number 7, which is the proposal O-2025-509. Can the clerk please read?
Yes, thank you. Excuse me. Proposal number O-2025-509, an ordinance of the Pierce County Council amending ordinance numbers 2022-14S and O-2024-514 and adopting new voting precinct boundary maps pursuant to Chapter 29A.16 of the Revised Code of Washington.
Thank you. Ms. Long, to brief.
Thank you. So as stated in the title, this proposal will adopt new precinct boundary maps for Pierce County. These adjustments are needed to existing precinct boundaries to conform to the statutory limit on active registered voters per precinct. So as some statutory background, the state law requires that the legislative authority of each county establish precinct boundaries. Every voting precinct must be wholly within a single congressional district, a single legislative district, a single district of a county legislative authority, and if possible, a single city. The county legislative authority may establish by ordinance a limitation on the maximum number of active registered voters in each precinct within its jurisdiction. The number may be less than the number established by law, but in no case may it exceed 1,500 active registered voters. So the auditor has performed a comprehensive review of precinct boundaries, which they do probably every year, and adjusting precincts approaching the size of 1,500 active registered voters. And so you'll see the maps on your Exhibit A. There are a number of maps. They are all larger precincts that have been split so that no precinct exceeds or even comes too close to the 1,500 limit on active registered voters. And then also note a source document beginning on page 41 of your packets that lists, it's a table that shows each of the new precincts and what council district they're located in, just so for your information, since typically you do ask that question, and the auditor's office has prepared that for your packets. So final council action on this one is April 15th, and if passed at that time, the maps will become effective on April 28th. Of this year, and that's also to comply with a statutory requirement of a certain period of time prior to the first day of filing that the maps must be in place. And I don't see Kyle on the list. He might be in the...
online.
Oh, okay, I do. So we do have auditor staff here to answer any questions that you might have or to elaborate further if needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kyle, do you have anything you want to add just before we open this up to questions?
Nothing on my end.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've got some lights here, so we'll start with Committee Member Ayala. It says it's on.
Thank you, Chair. I was just curious how the auditor's office defines active voter.
So active voter in state law means you're still receiving mail. What would be easier to describe as what an inactive voter is it's someone who's on the rolls, who we've mailed you something, and it's bounced back at us. Then you go into inactive status for 2 federal general elections, so essentially 4 years. And then if you don't reply or update or do something in that 4 years, then you're canceled. So
thank you.
That's how we define it.
Thank you for the question. Vice Chair Herrera.
Thank you, Chair. My question is on the auditor. Is it do they do the comprehensive review like yearly or just whenever, or is there like how does that work out?
We do it, we start after each general election because that's always our high point for registration. So we can get this to you starting in January or February is when this started working its way through the process. So at the end or very beginning of each year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And my question is around precinct committee officers. What happens about notification if there actually is, because we have many vacancies for those positions, but if there is a precinct committee officer in one of these precincts that's split, are they notified?
So we do notify the party chairs that this resolution is working its way through the process. There were some of the interested people. The PCO in particular, we don't have good, it's the parties who track who their PCOs are. So I'm assuming they tell them. But that's a great question. And I would have to defer to the parties because that is their organization.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Well, seeing none, I am going to open this up for a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to address the committee on O-2025-509, our new precinct maps? There's no one in chambers, so we'll go online.
Yes, Madam Chair. For the members of the public who wish to provide comments on proposal number O-2025-509, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. And I see no hands, Madam Chair.
With no hands raised, we will close public comment and bring it back before the committee. Vice Chair Herrera.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a question just popped in my mind on, so after the comprehensive review and we see a precinct is over the 1,500, what's the next step? Like, how do we, who determines like if the line's going to go north, south, east, or west from that, or bounce outside of it? How does that process work?
Yeah, so our staff has a GIS person who works for us, and they essentially made the most logical change they could think of in their head and sent them to you today to approve. We try to follow street lines, and we also always follow parcels. So that is the way we've kind of delimited and try to evenly divide them, because we don't want to come back to you next year saying this precinct went over. So we need to divide it evenly on logical lines on what kind of that staff member thinks makes the most sense. Who's the expert in GIS?
So a follow-up question is on the number, are the lines determined like we're just going to have 500 in this precinct, or we're going to go right to the 1,500, or is there wiggle room, or when it comes to how many people are in there? Yeah.
Once we hit 1,400, that's when we start splitting the precinct, because the law says you're not supposed to go over 1,500, and we anticipate, we continue to grow. So that's why some of these precincts aren't quite at 1,500 yet. So that's where we decide to make that shift and bring it before you around this time every year.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you for the questions. We have held a public hearing, and I'm not seeing any other questions, so I will entertain a motion.
Chair, I move proposal number 02025-509 to be forwarded to the full council with a due pass.
It's been moved and seconded that we forward O-2025-509 to the full council with a due pass recommendation. Any further comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We will forward this to the full council with a due pass. We are on other business. Is there any other business before the committee this morning?
Just a quick, if I may. I just got confirmation that that we are just focusing on the Key Peninsula for the committee. So I'm just letting you know.
Okay. Well, do we need to change the action that we took earlier? Or?
No,
okay.
we'll go ahead and change the schedule.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for the question. Glad we had it so that it would get done as soon as possible. Okay, seeing no other business before rules in operation, we are adjourned. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
It's a must for people who are deaf or hard of hearing.